Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are and wherever you're watching from. I'm Matt Pierce, host of Visual Lounge. Today, this episode, we're going to be talking about the reality of creating training videos. The reality is that you may like creating videos, you might not like creating videos, but there's a sense out there. What does your audience think? Now, hopefully this will be a little bit fun. I've got a series of quotes. Quotes is too strong. I went out onto the new, well, it's not even new, but the social platform Blue Sky, and I just typed in the word training videos, and I want to see what did people think. Now, admittedly, this is going to be a biased selection because I just picked the ones that I thought, well, that resonated with me somehow, or I thought that's something that we could talk about. There was probably some that were good, there were some that were bad. Look, so this is by no means a scientific study or dive into how people really feel about video, but the reality is these are some of the things that your audience might be feeling. And it's important that you understand that, and we're going to take a look at it here. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few of these. Let me get out of the way. So first one, I'll read these if you're just listening to the audio podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, obviously you can read along. I do not sound professional in my little training videos, but I keep making them so I do not have to run the same meeting multiple times. Well, that's actually a positive, right? We talked about asynchronous meetings on the Visual Lounge before, so this is a good thing. Like, they're like, I don't like the way I sound. It doesn't sound professional, but they keep doing it. So that's pretty cool. Way to go. What a great attitude to have, and what a great use of videos. Now let's go to the next one, because I think we're going to get a little bit spicier here. TFW. They tell me I got to watch the corporate training videos with the weird AI generated people. Shudder. And then a follow-up, someone said, I have just discovered that I'm able to watch the stupid training videos at work at double speed, and it still counts. This is both hilarious and extremely useful because I have 4 of these F words in my backlog, and they are dry. Okay. The reality being here is that you've got a couple things. AI avatars, we see from research, we see from talking to people, there's a lot of mixed feelings about this. And the more, like the less human they are, the weirder they are, but also it's weird when they are human. However, there's a place for them, right? Like if you're a trainer, you're making a corporate video and you know it's going to get recycled or refreshed in like 3 to 6 months. Gosh, that's a lot of work to get on camera. But on the same hand, like you've got people who are watching this and they are reacting to it. And instead of paying attention to the content, they're paying attention to the fact that it's an avatar, and then it might be defeating the purpose. Now, I don't have any research that backs me up on this, but I could guess that might interfere with learning to some degree if it's hard for you to focus on the content. So one of the things I would suggest here is don't always have the avatar on screen. Don't, mix it up. Don't put him in the corner like I am. Just have him on screen for a little bit, introduce the thing, and move on. Maybe they pop up once in a while when there's a transition. Use them wisely, just like any other tool that you've got. Number 2, I have the one that they just discovered, right? Stupid training videos. A lot of people, I think, feel this way about their videos, right? Like they feel like they've got stupid training videos. They feel like it's dry. I mean, understandably, we've got content sometimes that we have to deal with that is a struggle. It is a struggle because it is dry content by its nature. That doesn't mean it's not valuable. So what do you do? Well, one, I think you can have some fun here. If your organization is open to it, have a little fun, right? Like just recognizing the fact that it's dry or that it's content that maybe people aren't going to want to watch. How can you make it fun? What can you do to enhance and entice and involve the people that are going to have to watch us? So that might be, if you can, and if appropriate, use a little humor, encourage people to watch it 2 times speed. So like, that's an answer, right? Like that tells people like, yeah, we know this is going to be dry. Are there ways to make it more interesting? Make it a puzzle, make it a mystery, do something with it. So you're helping them to understand. And also, as we always talk about, do they understand the value? Like, what's in it for them? Why are you making them watch this? Is it to keep them safe? Is it to protect the company and them? Is it to protect others? Is it to get them, better at their job? Is it to make them more money? Is it to make their hair grow back? I don't care what it is. Help them to understand that. Well, let's keep moving here because we'll keep this. I think keep it light is better. Excel training videos. I am also bored. I don't know if they're saying they're bored because of the Excel training videos or the Excel training videos are boring them. But wow, right? Like that's not an unusual reaction to watch a tutorial about a tool like Excel and saying, gosh, this isn't really that exciting. And it's not. So think about how you can break those up, make sure that people are getting just enough information. You're getting them to do some practice. You're getting to apply the things that they're talking about. That way they're going to be better off. Next, been doing some manual training for my work today. Online training videos done with computer animation. They have a person with a missing hand in there, and I know it's to be inclusive, which is laudable. However, it looks like it was a problem rendering the model. So this really brings up an interesting and a keen point that like inclusivity is important, but it's got to be the right inclusivity because, in this case, this animation, it doesn't look correct. And you might say, well, that's not nice. And I don't think they're saying that like it looks bad. It's just like, it looks like it was a mistake and not intentional. And so be intentional with your inclusivity, be intentional, be thoughtful, be kind. I think that's a really important thing. People like to see representation of themselves. They want to feel like they are seen, and this might be a good way to do it. I mean, and a computer animation, like using cartoons, maybe not a bad way to do some of that. But other things in your other content, and hey, I could do better. Just be thoughtful. Make sure you're including the right types of people, and that's all sorts of people. It might look different, and you have inclusivity of people that you might not even tell that it's an inclusion issue, but how you depict it. So if you're doing that more kind of storytelling, just be mindful of that. So I think this is a good point, though. Make it intentional. Don't make it look like an accident, because that might just not work. Next up, I absolutely switch up speeds for training videos, though, since their goal is instruction rather than the art of performance. And is there anything more soul destroying than watching online training videos? Okay, we've talked about the first one. We talked about speed. Good. Tell people to speed it up. It's okay. I do think it's interesting, though, because speed, oftentimes, I think, maybe it says your videos are going too slow. You want to find that right balance. Talking with people, reading some research, about 150 words per minute is about the right pacing, which is a little faster than you might expect, but not so fast that it's hard to understand. And so you want to find that pacing for people. This is more about your delivery. Yes, they can still speed it up. I speak probably faster than 150 words per minute, which means 1.5 times speed or faster gets a little harder to understand, but 1.25 times is probably fine. But part of that speed is also engagement. So think about the rate you're speaking at. Now, you might say, hey, from an inclusivity, accessibility standpoint, we need to slow it down. I don't disagree, but you need to understand what that means. And so going too slow can be a problem as going too fast. Because I know if it's going too slow, I'm not going to pay attention. And that might not be an accessibility issue. That is just that I'm not going to pay attention and your message will be lost. I will complete the course, but that doesn't mean I understand it. I just love the second one. What a sentiment. Is there anything more soul destroying than watching online training videos? Dude, what kind of online training videos are you watching that they're soul destroying? That is rough. I'm sorry, buddy. Just smile and nod. I don't really know what to say. I mean, I think that happens because the content. I think that happens because of the instance. I don't think training videos have to be soul destroying. And if they are, what are you training them about? Yikes. I don't know if I want to find out. All right. Next up. My dad watches federal government training videos for entertainment. If I ever do this, shoot me. Okay. No, we're not going to do that. But like, hey, I mean, that's his thing. He likes watching federal government training videos. Cool. Hey, you know what? No shame in that if that's what you're thinking. But I get the sentiment, right? Like there's videos out there that you're like, why would anyone want to watch this? But that's cool. Doing my HR training videos, and there's an image of, I believe it's from Clockwork Orange, a guy with his eyes pried open, forced to watch things. And again, just that sentiment, right? Like when you're watching training videos, like why are they feeling this way? This is important information. We just, at TechSmith, full disclosure, we just went through, we had to watch some HR videos. One was for, it's open enrollment in the United States, so time to, adjust any insurance information, things like that. And, I feel really lucky because I did not feel that way. We've got some other training coming up, and I know I've seen it a couple times, and I feel like, yep, I've seen it a couple times. Now, that's the thing. I think if you watch the video more than 3 or 4 times, you're going to feel this way, like you're just being forced to watch the same thing over and over. But I get it's expensive, costly, and maybe not worth changing out all that often. But the other thing is with HR videos, again, help people understand that value. Make it fun for them. Like, help them, like, here's the thing I don't, benefits obviously is very important because for insurance purposes, for beneficiaries, all the kind of things that come along with it, right? I get that's a little dry. Insurance is just dry topic. And it's dry to figure out, okay, how do I figure out how much I'm going to contribute to my HSA versus this, to my 401k, blah, blah, blah. But what if, hear me out, what if you take that topic and you make it a little bit more interesting, like throw in some interesting stuff to help me be excited by the fact that, yay, this is what they're doing for me. This is amazing. I feel really lucky. TechSmith is a great employer. You might not feel that way, but that's okay. Like, still, there's ways that as HR employees, you can sell this. You can make this not feel like it's painful. For instance, our HR person, Brianna, she's learned a lot about making videos in the last couple of years. She's got some fun music, because we're not learning. She's walking us through the process and helping us understand all the things we need, all the things we need to do and understand. She's actually made it interactive, so there's some different choice you can make. Like, I'm not going to do this, or I need to do this one. And so she's just found some ways it's fast paced. It's well done. There's some great movement going on the screen. It's not just like here is your benefits page and 3 things you need to fill out on this page are. No, it's much more lively than that. I think you can have some fun with it. All right, next one. The heavily edited video people cooking on YouTube and TikTok have the visual style of a training montage. I like that, right? Like, although if you're looking from a learning perspective, think about Rocky training montage. He's running up the stairs, he's doing punching bag, all that stuff. I'm not learning how to box from Rocky, and so you do want to be careful. Like, now they're talking about cooking videos, so I get it, right? They're just going through steps quickly. It's meant to be engaging. They're more interested in views than they are in learning. But there is a style there that you could use, especially if your audience has some semblance of maybe the things that they're going to do. Now, what they didn't say is, did they learn how to cook from this, or did they learn how to make the dish they wanted to make? And that's okay. So just something to be aware of, though. Like, be careful, but also, hey, maybe there's an idea there. Okay, well, that about does it. It's just a fun little sampling. There's probably way more out there that we could find across various different platforms. But the reality is understanding your audience. Like, you might think your audience thinks like, hey, I'm so glad we got these training videos. Or you might know they absolutely hate them. But getting in touch with your audience and asking them, hey, well, I know this is a dry topic. What would have made it more engaging or interesting for you? And I get someone will inevitably say, nothing. I don't want to do it. It sucks. But that's okay. Put them aside, because that's not reality. Reality is that they have to take compliance training. They have to do these things. And so talk to your audience. Ask them, what can they do better? What can you do better in your videos? What would make it more engaging, more watchable, more interesting? Do they prefer it all to be one long video, or do you want it in one short video? What is it that they want or need? And if you do that, you're going to get great feedback. It might be hard feedback. It might be hard to swallow some of it, but it could be super helpful. And you don't have to make all the changes at once, but definitely think about it. And then, think about like the perception you have, and you might need to work on changing that perception, right? Like, just because you make it, your next video is the best video ever and it's going to be super cool, doesn't mean people are going to go into it thinking that. So prime them. Think about like, what could you do to help them get excited or interested, curious, if you will, about that thing, get them to be curious, not judgmental, as Ted Lasso would say. So anyway, I hope this has been interesting. Something I saw, I thought, man, this is looking kind of like just curious. It's kind of fun. But please, if you got any questions, thoughts, suggestions for the Visual Lounge, we've been on and off lately. It's been a busy season, and between travel and just lots of things going on. it's been hard to get episodes out there. We're looking to get a full slate of guests coming up here. Probably going to really be in the new year. We'll do some of these kind of one-off episodes, keep things going. But know that we're here. We're still going. If you got guest suggestions, we'd love to hear it. If you got ideas for topics that you would love us to talk about or cover, I'd love to do that as well. Really looking forward to catching up with everybody. Future events, would love to see you. And again, we're available. Email us at thevisuallounge@techsmith.com or find us on social channels. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks, everybody, and we hope you take a little time to level up every single day.